we'd like to share something. Perhaps you have something from the week about enjoyment that you'd like to share, or something else, something about that came up for you around the talk tonight, came up for you with the meditation. We'll go with you wherever you'd like us to go. So, Andra.
Last week, during your talk, I was getting teary, and I was thinking about what words I would use to akin to enjoyment of the sorrow. And the word appreciate, a deep appreciation of it, which is like saying, I really want to be here for this. And I just got back from visiting my 92-year-old mom, and she's not doing so well. She's going the way we all will go. A little faster lately, though. And she's in Maryland, and so I don't get to see her on a regular basis. And leaving was just so sad. But I want to feel that because I want to be able to come and see her, and leaving is a part of it. So I've really been thinking a lot about along these lines.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate thinking of you and your mother. And, the love is in the sorrow. Sorrow is often so close to love. Wouldn't exist in many cases without the love that's behind it. So that's really important to acknowledge. And thanks for the word appreciation. I think that's it expresses in a way what the I want to be here for this is about. All right. Thank you. Okay, Brenda.
Hi. I've not
Hi.
been not been here in a while. It turns out like
No.
I have all these conflicts with Tuesdays.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I have a prayer that I um, say, and it didn't occur to me until tonight that I haven't really known what it means for me, but so much of what we're saying tonight is helping to bring clarity or maybe helping to bring more questions. I don't know. But it's that may all of life come to me with joy and grace and ease. And I I guess I kind of struggled with that. I don't know how it came to me, but I I think I used to think that it meant I wanted everything to be peachy and easy. But as we're exploring tonight, um, because I'm kind of attached to that prayer. um, and I think tonight it's given me more meaning of, it could mean like all the shittiness is there and coming to me, but that I want to be open to it. I want to be present, and so I'm still like with joy and grace and ease, maybe like I want to not resist, although I I understand the importance of resisting. I think of like a butterfly emerging. If it doesn't resist and come out of its cocoon. It's not sending the blood to its wings. It's not going to be able to fly. So I don't know. Maybe I'm more confused than I was, but somehow it's seeming to, yeah, to be expressing to me that I want to show up for whatever it is. And I guess as long as I am, then yeah, let's make it easeful. This whatever the challenging situation might be, may it still open me up. Maybe that's what I mean by joy and grace and ease. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but
Well, thank you for the prayer. It's a beautiful prayer, and I'm kind of along with you. The prayer initially, it probably sounds like it's like, can I have all the easy stuff and none of the bad stuff in life?
yeah.
And it's more about out there, but it's actually about here. It's like, can I move through the world with grace and ease, regardless, in a kind of unconditional way? Because if what we're aiming for is unconditional peace, unconditional openness, it's a tall order, but I think that in some ways what we're aiming for. We can't wait for everything to be perfect out there in the world for this to happen, or obviously it never will. That's the unconditional part. If you're waiting for conditions to be right, you're in trouble. Conditions are fragile. They fall, even the best ones fall apart. And so to turn it inward to what's meeting life. What attitude is meeting life? What energy, what quality of heart is meeting life? And I appreciate your analogy of the butterfly. Non-resistance is kind of it's a hard one to get your head around, because the concept isn't quite the same as the reality. But it really is true that much of the suffering of life is our resistance to things. In fact, it goes even so far. I've meditated at times with physical pain, and there's been moments when the sense of a self resisting the pain has disappeared, and suddenly what I felt as pain was suddenly just intense sensation, and there was no resistance to it, and there was actually no suffering. That was a profound lesson to me. Those times when that's happened, and it's like there's a kind of an untruth that I've bought into, that suffering is out there in the things that happen and not in the heart. So, but somehow, then in that caterpillar who's kind of trying to come out, it takes a lot of effort. There is, whatever non-resistance means, it doesn't mean passivity. It's, and sometimes you just, have you ever had an experience where you don't know how you got through something, but you just instinctually fought your way through and got out of it? It's not, kind of non-resistance can look in various ways, really can. So you can't have a fixed kind of passive view of it. Or what an open heart would do in a situation. You can't have a fixed view of that. Well, and an open heart would never say anything loud or angry or forceful. Maybe it would. Maybe we resist some of the power that we actually have to speak out. So, see, it's conceptually it's a tricky one. But in any case, I think you're on the right track with your prayer. I think you're on the right track. So, Jim,
So this is kind of hard to say. Because I've been meditating every single day, I've noticed things happening in my life. And an experience that happened last week was an experience of jealousy. And I sat with that for 2 days, and my heart was breaking. I mean, I've never felt such heartbreak before. And this comes up with joy and suffering, heartbreak. And so I decided to talk to my wife about this. My perception, she said, you're misperceiving. And 90% of me believe that. There's another percentage that didn't. So it's ego hanging on, going, don't believe that at all. So I've sat with this for a while, and it's so I realized I had an experience of my heart that I've never had before. And so I'm just sitting and watching and seeing where this goes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bless you for hanging in there with your heart. You really have to hang in there to get to the place that it pays off.
It does. It did.
Yeah.
How could I have misperceived so intensely? You know, that.
Yes. That could be all our story here in life. How could I have misperceived so intensely?
Yes.
And then once the perception is corrected, there's still some little gremlin in there that's like, man, this story of misery, I've gotten so much out of it. I don't want to let go.
That's right.
It's given me such a satisfying sense of miserable self. I don't, who would I be without it?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I don't think I need it. Although it was intensely, I don't know the word, but I think you said it. Anyway, there you go.
All right. You showed up for it.
There. That's it.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim. Let me mute you here. Okay. Who else? Who else would like to speak? I guess I could say, I think of the heart as sort of like insects. You know how insects have these exoskeletons, and so the only way they can get bigger is to shed their exoskeleton in a process called molting. So at some point, the insides are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the shell is getting to feel smaller and smaller and smaller. And then at some point, like the shell goes through these changes and becomes brittle, and then it kind of like breaks apart, and this new kind of very tender thing emerges. It has no hardened shell yet. And then a new shell, the little bug sucks all the calcium or something out of the old shell and is ready to like pump it into this new thing. But for a moment there, it's just this kind of quivering mass of new bigger bug. And so I've often thought this is a great metaphor for the heart, that the heart has to break to become bigger. That's how it changes sizes. is something is too big to be contained in the limits that it's thought it's had. And so the heartbreaking is not necessarily a sign of something wrong, especially if you go along willingly. But sometimes people go into eddies of being unwilling that can really prolong the process. But basically, the heart is like a bug. Heart's like a bug. It has some molt. All right, we have time for another something. Anybody want to hop in there?
I know I mentioned at the beginning of this session that my mom passed away in June, and some of you who've been doing this for a while with me have heard a lot about my mom over the years. And so she was 94, she had dementia, we had a fraught relationship is the nut version. So she had another fall. I'm going to speak about her passing away, so I just want to acknowledge that. So she had another fall, and she ended up in a nursing facility for her last 4 days. And I knew, like on Thursday, that this was it. And they were telling me that, all these other things. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure. Like her mother did the same thing. She just stopped eating. She was like, I'm done. And she checked out, and she died like 4 days later. And I'm like, I just, in my mind and in my heart, I just knew. And I went back to that. I literally was like, well, I want to be here for this. And I just cleared everything, and I sat with her for like 3 days. And she wasn't talking at all for the last 2 days. So I did a lot of talking, and I did a lot of writing. And I was really glad I could be there for her for that. And it was really incredibly peaceful for, so much of our relationship wasn't. And this transition, even though it was not, physically, like she was comfortable. And so thankfully she wasn't in a lot of pain. And it was just really kind of a matter of like waiting with her while things shut down and she let go. And I felt like it helped me let go of a lot. And we were at that, like, because of the dementia, which I know is not a blessing for most people, but in this relationship, her dementia was really kind of a blessing because she forgot to be mean and judgy, and all the things and all the comments and all of that just was gone. And it was just, she was grateful I was there, and I was grateful I could be there for her. And I'm really glad I was there for it. And I know a lot of people talk about after someone passes away, like they feel like they're there with them and they still hear their voice. And for me, like the real gift is that I don't hear her voice in my head anymore.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm glad I was there for it. So thanks for letting me share that.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. I love to hear that story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just appreciating all the work you did over the years around your mother.
Right?
And yeah, how to be with that. And I feel like you really met it. And so it's lovely to hear the final fruits of it. And in a way, it's going to keep giving fruit. It's going to keep giving fruit in a way maybe we don't know right now. So thank you.
I also want to say thank you. Because one of the things you told me when I was about 3 years deep and probably crying at a session was that my mom would be my best teacher because she wasn't going to change. And you were right.
How did I know that? I must be psychic.
There you go. There's maybe some experience thing.
Yes. Okay. All right, everybody. I think maybe we'll stop here and have a great week. And I just love hearing your stories. So come back with where all this went.